North America has its own monster. Bigfoot is a 7 to 9 foot tall man-ape that has been sighted in North America for centuries. Before the European invasion, Native Americans were very familiar with this hairy giant that lived in the wilderness. Jeffrey Gonzalez, a self-described paranormal expert, said he heard about Bigfoot sightings from a local farmer. The farmer said he saw the creatures and 5 others running on his ranch near Avocado Lake. He said that one of the creatures was very tall and noted that it was carrying a pig. He managed to capture a few pictures, but as always they were blurry. He seems adamant the photos show a real-life Bigfoot. So what are people the world over witnessing? Over the years, hundreds of photos allegedly showing Bigfoots have been captured. The whole basis of the reality of the Bigfoot legend rests largely in the hundreds of footprint casts that have been made and collected. It would be foolish to assume that every footprint is genuine, as the Bigfoot mystery is contaminated by hoaxes. However, it would be equally foolish to assume that every footprint is a hoax. There have been more than 900 footprints attributed to Bigfoot collected over the years, having an average length of 15.6 inches. Although sightings of large man-like creatures in North America predate the arrival of Europeans, reports of footprints, however, are more recent, and there is a mention of large tracks in the early 19th century. An early settler by the name of David Thompson crossed the Rockies near the present site of Jasper, Alberta in the winter of 1811. He mentions coming across the tracks of a large animal. The entry in his journal reads, "Continuing our journey in the afternoon, we came on the track of a large animal. The snow about 6 inches deep in the ice. I measured it 4 toes of 4 inches in length. The ball of the foot sunk 3 inches lower than the toes. The hinder part of the foot did not mark well. The length 14 inches by 8 inches. Walking north to south and having passed about 6 hours. We were in no humour to follow him. Its great size was not that of a bear." The sighting of a Sasquatch is accompanied by a very strong, very foul odour. Many witnesses state that's one way you can tell if a Bigfoot is around. Many claim they're not seeing bears or other wildlife, but rather a giant man-ape. Fans of the channel will know I've covered Bigfoot many times. However, up until now I've never come across a Bigfoot sighting here in the UK. The Bigfoot is usually associated with North America, but a man claims he saw something unusual on his train journey through Somerset. The eyewitness said he was on a train to Bristol Temple Meads when he saw a massive creature taking huge strides. The encounter was reported to the British Bigfoot Sightings Group. The witness said the following about his encounter. "I left Exeter late in the morning, and there was a few people on the train as it approached Bristol. In my carriage was probably 10 to 12 people, most of them with their head in either mobile phones or morning newspapers. I haven't been on a train for years, so I was keen to take in the scenery. About 10 miles from Bristol we were travelling through a wooded area, and in the fields to my right I saw something large in the middle of the field walking. It was walking kind of hunched over, and all I can tell you is that it was a black figure. At a guess I would have said it was 70 to 100 metres away from the train. My eyes were glued on it at this point. I was watching the way this thing was walking, almost towards the side of the field. It was edged right up to the hedgerow as if to walk alongside the hedge itself, almost like it was using the hedge for cover. To my eye, whatever it was seemed to take massive strides, and it was covering the ground very quickly. As I spun my head to the left to see if anybody else on the train had seen what I was looking at, I was surprised to see that nobody was really looking out from their seats in my direction, or any direction other than down. I would imagine 5 to 10 seconds was all I saw it for, but it stood out to me as it was strange. To start off with, I didn't think it was a Bigfoot or anything like that, until I watched how it walked and the way it hugged the hedgerow. I thought it was just somebody walking through a field, but this thing was huge and didn't walk like a human. Then about 2 minutes later, after viewing this figure, I saw a couple walking a dog in the field roughly the same distance that I'd seen the black figure. They were also walking near the hedge line. I was gobsmacked to see that I could hardly make them out. I mean, I knew there were humans walking with the dog, but I couldn't really see what they were wearing, apart from the brightly coloured coats. And it dawned on me they were probably of average size male and female, although what I'd seen 5 minutes earlier was clearly not. It was an all-black figure in a field, and it was huge. I could see the black-figured arms and legs and chest, compared to the two humans I'd just seen walking the dog. At the point of seeing the black figure, I realised the tree line behind it was probably 200 metres away, and had a thick, dense forest behind it. I have no proof whatsoever to show you, only my word. I'm 100% sure what I saw was the English Bigfoot, and what makes me so confident is the way it walked, with slightly bent legs, long strides but a graceful fluid walking motion. The witness's description seems really detailed, which could add some credibility. But what do you guys think? Is there any chance that a Bigfoot type creature could be living here in the UK? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. In 2015, a hunter found a possible Bigfoot footprint located 4 miles from Kickapoo State Park. The eyewitness said the following about the encounter. It all began with my father-in-law. He had an encounter of something huge and making unfamiliar noises. This noise is unlike anything he'd heard before. He is a 70-year-old man and a great guy. I recall laughing and making fun of him. Then the tables turned. I was in the woods alone hunting in the 2015 hunting season. I was in my stand and had several deer coming towards me, but they seemed very scared. As I climbed down out of my stand, I began hearing some unusual noises, kind of like a screaming, growling noise. Now I'm soon to be 50 years old myself, and as my father-in-law said to me, these were sounds that I'd never heard before in the woods or anywhere else. I called my father-in-law and told him I had a deer, and asked if he could meet me in the woods to help me get the deer out. He told me he was in Indiana, and that it would be close to an hour before he could even get home. I was too embarrassed to tell him I was feeling pretty uneasy. I tried to keep him on the phone, but he had to get off the phone. I began tracking the deer. As I started to head down a small hill, I began hearing these noises again. It was as if I could feel these screaming, growling noises inside my body. I kept hearing what I thought may have been falling branches. I looked up on this hillside 30 yards from me and I could see a silhouette of something huge. I quickly ran out the woods and continued hearing the noises all the way out. I called my father-in-law and told him about my encounter. We returned the next morning to try and find the deer, but when we got there it was as if the deer had vanished. We began working in circles but found nothing. While we was looking around, we could smell a very strong odour in the woods. It was the same smell as the night before. It was like a cross of something dead and the urine of many different types of animals. I felt eyes on us the whole time we was out there. We went back several times without success. Then in April I went to the same location for mushroom hunting. I found that the woods was very quiet. I didn't find any mushrooms, so I headed out through the north end of the woods to look at the deer sign. When it hit me, I could smell the same strong odour. I began hurrying to get out of the woods. As I got to the edge of the woods to an area we called the grassy area, there was a giant footprint. A single footprint left behind by a huge creature. The print was a good one. It was very detailed and you could see toes and everything. I wear a size 13 and this print was way bigger than my foot. I've never been frightened in the woods in my whole life, but this encounter did scare me. Bigfoot is one of the most famous cryptids in the world. For hundreds of years, giant humanoids have been witnessed. Recently, park ranger surveillance from Round Rock Parks and Recreation has revealed photographs of some very large footprints. These footprints have been discovered at various trails and parks in the region. The department posted on Facebook asking that if anyone comes across anything strange or phenomena that can't be explained, to get in touch with them and show their pictures of. Following the posting made, 3 black and white photographs have been posted. The Round Rock Parks have now opened up about sightings of footprints that are said to belong to Bigfoot. It isn't just footprints that have been discovered. Clumps of hair have also been found. This brought the question of whether a Texas Bigfoot was living north of Austin in the Brushy Creek region. The photographs that were posted to the Facebook group even had the locations in which the photograph was posted, and the timestamp of when the photograph was taken and date. On the 10th of June, a photograph was taken in Freeman Park of what was said to be a footprint that was well defined. The park is around 40 acres. The second photograph comes from a 645-acre park, with the name of Old Settlers Park, and this includes Bright Lake. Another photograph was shown with a ranger standing at the side of it, showing his foot in relation to the one on the ground. This one came from Brushy Creek Trail East, which is the location of the round rock which gave the city its name. Over the years, many people have reported seeing Bigfoot in this region. One witness said the following: "I've been walking my whole life, and I love nothing more than a national park. While walking, I've discovered some bizarre things. One such thing is these giant footprints. The best way I can describe them is they look like a giant's footsteps. I'm not one to believe in monsters, but I can't think of what would have made these. Others who have reviewed the images think it's the best proof of Bigfoot we have. However, there are many skeptics who have the belief that it's nothing more than an employee of the park, who is making the footprints and leaving strange hair to be found. This would in turn make the park more popular and bring in visitors." The Houston Chronicle was able to be open-minded about it, and some experts were interviewed when they'd seen the photographs. Some deemed the photos credible, saying that you can see dermal ridges. The Earth holds ancient remains beneath its soil, and over the years many have made it to the surface. Some are valuable, such as gold, but others sometimes leave us scratching our heads. Fossils are formed in a number of different ways, but most are formed when a plant or animal dies in a watery environment and is buried in mud and silt. Soft tissues quickly decompose, leaving the hard bones or shells behind. Over time, sediment builds up over the top and hardens into rock. Fossils are in a way precious and unique artifacts preserved by the earth, and they can tell us a lot about that certain creature. Over time, we've discovered animals we never thought could have existed, from giant land animals to huge ocean-dwelling creatures. One alleged fossil discovered in Utah has been raising many questions. The mysterious-looking object was discovered in the Ogden Canyon, Utah. When you think of Bigfoot evidence, you usually think of footprints or photographs. However, a resident from Utah believes he's discovered the fossilized head of a Bigfoot. The resident said that he made the discovery while searching for fossils. He was digging around in the dirt when a strange shaped rock caught his eye. After shifting through the rubble, he turned the rock over, and was surprised. He states that a face was staring back at him, suggesting that the object is not a rock but actually a fossilized skull. He points out that you can see eye sockets, ridges, and even nostrils. Kenneth Carpenter, a paleontologist, said the following: "I think that while this man's interesting find certainly looks intriguing, I'm pretty sure that it's just a rock. I'll admit that it's the most head-like rock I have seen. However, there is no doubt that the object is a natural phenomenon. Basically, it's just the odd way the rock is weathered." The resident disagrees with this and believes that it is proof of a Bigfoot. The resident has even been taking the skull around in his car and showing it off to people. Some local residents who have seen the object do believe that it's the real thing, but some are not convinced. However, he is not keen on allowing scientists to conduct tests on it. He said that sometimes if you lend these types of things out to people, you never see them again. For now, the alleged skull is in the hands of the resident. So what do you guys make of this? Do you think these photos show a real Bigfoot skull? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Paul Freeman was an American Bigfoot hunter who claimed to have discovered Bigfoot tracks showing dermal ridges. The plaster casts Freeman made were convincing enough to be considered critical pieces of evidence by anthropologists. In 1994, Freeman captured a purported Bigfoot on video near the Blue Mountains region. The footage is considered to be authentic by some Bigfoot investigators, but is considered of too low resolution to be conclusive by most. The creature in the video can be seen slowly walking past Freeman, What's interesting about the video is the creature does look big. It also appears to have wide shoulders and a muscular body. Those who believe the footage to be fake have said it's either a bear or a man in a gorilla suit. A strange video has surfaced on YouTube which was said to have been captured in a forest in Michigan by a hiker. The clip allegedly shows a giant humanoid creature wandering through the forest. These hairy ape men are probably the most witnessed unknown creatures in the world. Whether they are called Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, skunk ape or Yowie, they have been seen in isolated woodlands and mountain areas in virtually every corner of the globe, and the descriptions from one part of the globe to the other are remarkably consistent. This is not the first time that photos have surfaced claiming to show a Bigfoot in this region. Not much information has been released about the incident, other than a hiker supposedly captured the footage while out in the forest. The photos have captured the interest of conspiracy theorists as it seems to show a large dark creature among the trees in the forest. The eyewitness said the following: "I found it strange this creature did not hear the noise I was making. I was creating a lot of noise as I was trekking through twigs, branches and dead leaves. The creature did not seem bothered by me. It's been pointed out by some that the man filming the video seems to be too relaxed about the whole thing, as he does not seem to show any fear nor much excitement at seeing the creature. This has led others to suggest that perhaps he knew there was going to be something in the woods, as it may be a friend dressed up as the elusive creature. Many Bigfoot sightings that have been presented have later been debunked as fake. Bigfoot sightings seem to be on the rise as mankind ventures deeper and deeper into the wilderness. The Bigfoot Field Researchers organisation announced its intention to place motion-triggered digital webcams in various areas of forest where the hairy beast has been seen. This 24-hour surveillance with potentially thousands of computer-based witnesses looking on will dramatically increase the chances of obtaining credible evidence. A theory has been put forward that Bigfoot descends from an ancient ape called Gigantopithecus. While the Giganto-Bigfoot theory may be valid, some have stated it's highly unlikely these giant creatures could have gone unnoticed for so long. Gigantopithecus was the biggest primate that ever walked the earth. This ancient creature would have stood around 10 feet, and weighed up to 600 pounds. The Jungiji is a type of Bigfoot from Australia. They are hairy humanoid creatures that are 2 to 3 feet tall, have black fur and are said to have large white fangs and red eyes. They live in groups where they live in caves or natural hollows of boulders. They are generally thought of as harmless, though they can be dangerous. Jungijis eat shellfish and honey and have some sort of chirping language. Stories of Jungijis are found in the old tales of Aboriginal people. A more recent sighting occurred in the 18th century. 10 to 14-year-old students said they saw 8 Jungijis on their school. They took a few steps towards the children, then retreated into a hole into the ground and disappeared. Another sighting also occurred in 1979, where some children were attached near a mine shaft by 3-foot-tall black hairy creatures. A car window had even been smashed by one of them. There is an Aboriginal tribe in the Northern Territory which have a camp near the Jungiji dwelling. They believe these humanoid nocturnal creatures protect them from other evil spirits that mean them harm, such as the bush curlews, which if not for the Jungiji would steal their babies. The tribe moved in the Jungiji's dwelling after losing a lot of babies, and have not lost one since. For this reason the location is kept secret and protected. Jungiji means devil devil. In Aboriginal lingo, words are repeated to emphasise size. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.